Hey everybody, I've done some thinking and I've realized that I haven't made a whole lot of videos regarding hard drives, or at least taking the covers off of them and looking inside of them. Mainly because, once you take a hard disk cover off, it's pretty much done. And you don't want to do it to a perfectly working hard drive. So here we have 5 hard drives. All of them have bad sectors or are failing smart for some reason or another. And we're going to pull the covers off of them today. On the left is the old Western Digital 160GB hard drive that was actually a Christmas gift to me back in late 2006. So I've had a hard disk since 2006, and it was pulled out of service early this year, 2014. So it lasted 8 years of nearly constant use. Can't complain there. Been a good drive. Next is the Hitachi Data 320GB drive. That was a recent pull from a computer that I was in for repair. Hard drive's got bad sectors, running very slow. Replaced it with a white label 320GB drive, and the computer's running like new again. To the right of that is a Western Digital 320GB hard drive from probably 2008, which, by the way, the Hitachi's from April 2007. I think I got these spaced, from left to right in age too. This Western Digital was pulled out of service, out of a E-Machines computer for getting bad sectors after roughly 6 years of use. So not too bad. I can't complain there. April 2008 was the manufacturing date on this drive. And it was replaced with a white label drive. Computer's also working just fine. This Seagate is a Barracuda 7200.12. I've had hit or miss quality with these things. Probably the only good experience I've had out of one of these drives, where you haven't had to RMA it due to bad sectors or smart errors, would be the drive that's in the Black Max. It's from, I think, 2010 or 2011, and it's still working just fine. No problems. But anyways, this one here was one of the two that was out of it was in the Mid-Tower Deluxe back in 2009 through 2012. So it served roughly 3 years, and then got dropped into a TV box for about 6 months, and is showing as caution held in Crystal Disk Info. So pulled it and replaced it with a 2 terabyte Hitachi. To the right of that is a Western Digital Green Power 1 terabyte drive from 2010. Was in the Mid-Tower Deluxe ever since brand new. Yeah, in 2010. It served roughly 4 years of constant on use. And reliability, I'd say, never had any problems with it until I noticed that it was getting smart errors. I started getting a lot of smart errors all of a sudden, so replaced it with a 2 terabyte Hitachi. And working just fine. TV storage drive. This drive was originally my backup drive for my 2 Seagate 500GB tower enraged drive. So it served its purpose. It held a backup of my data and then was used as a TV storage drive. So no problems there. And I must say, for a green power, it performed pretty well. This drive here is only a 5400 RPM drive, and I guess because it has 64 megabytes of cache, it performed pretty well. Which, by the way, let me tell you models off of these. On the far left is a Caviar AC WD 1600JS. This Hitachi. Matter of finding. Oh, HDT 725032VLA 380. Yeah, keep it nice and long, Hitachi. I hear you. Western Digital here, 320GB, WD 3200AAJS. The Seagate, Barracuda 7200.12 or ST 3500418AS. This drive, the 1 terabyte Western Digital, WD10 EARS, or EARS, if you want to call it that. I notice Western Digital seems to keep their model numbers nice and simple, whereas Hitachi keeps them nice and long. So, let's go ahead and take the covers off of these. Okay, everybody, I've now taken the covers off of each of these drives. Now, first things first, there's something very disturbing that I see here. Look at drives 1 and 4. You see something different about them versus the other 3? Look at where the heads are located. The Western Digital 160 and the Seagate 500 both had the read-write head parked right on top of the disk, whereas the Hitachi 320, the Western Digital 320, and the Western Digital Green Power 1TB all have their read-write heads parked to the side. This makes the disk a lot, safer during transport of the computer. It's especially important in laptops, but it's nice to see this feature added into desktops too. It keeps the disk safe, and it keeps the read-write heads perfectly safe. So that way, if there is a sudden drop, not a bad drop, but let's say a sudden jolt, it helps save the disk and the heads from serious damage. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start up each of these drives and let you see them run without the cover. Now the Western Digital 160 doesn't seem too happy now that I've taken its cover off. And I think I may know why it's not happy. Because it parks the head right on the disk, and that may have damaged it when I took the cover off. Now, if you look at disk 3 and 4, I may know why they have bad sectors. Or disk 2. Let's take a really close look. Look carefully. You might see some specks of dust on there. Those specks of dust were there when I pulled the covers off. And it appears, as I mentioned, all it takes is some dust in there to cause problems. Some dust gets on the disk surface, it can cause some serious problems. There's the Hitachi. See, there's some spots on it too, just one that I see. The Seagate 500 has quite a few too. Now look at the disc that does not have much of any dust on it at all. Kind of surprised it has, kind of surprised it's failing smart. The Western Digital 1TB. That disc looks nice and clean to me. Now they all look like mirrors, but when you have dust on there, it can cause problems. Zoom you back out here. I'm going to demonstrate, what can happen. Let's say a hard disk gets dropped pretty badly. You see you can see the head's not doing too much now. But let's power it off. See if that makes a difference. Now how about if it's running? It's not happy now. Now see, that very well could have happened if the computer was even turned off. Because as you can see, the head is right over the disk. I'll go and restart it for you. Now let's see what happens when we actually etch the disc. That disc is destroyed. Now, let's move on to the next one. Notice how its head is parked, right over here. The Western Digital is already damaged when I started it, initially. But I think we can do a fair demonstration on that Hitachi. Unplug the Western Digital, which is a 2-platter drive. The Hitachi 320 gig is also 2-platter. But the Western Digital 320, which is newer, is only a 1-platter. Let's power up that drive. Doing absolutely nothing. Let's try bypassing the SATA connector. And just plug it straight in via Molex. Nothing. Nothing at all. Makes me wonder if it's like a security feature to drive to not even run without the cover not attached. That is very strange. Okay, let's move on to the Western Digital 320. Because what I like to do is I like to start one of these, drop it, and start it back. One of the ones that parks its head. Lots and lots of screws on the table now. Now guys, you see I'm destroying these drives. Stupid camera. Go ahead, fall again. Now guys, you see I'm destroying these drives. As I mentioned, these were not in perfect condition. They had issues. So, I want to bring that to your attention yet again. Because I'm sure some of you probably want to dislike the video because you're thinking I'm destroying perfect drives. No, I'm not. That one starts up. That one doesn't seem too happy either. Then again, I don't know. Let me turn it back off and restart it. See if it does the same sequence. Same sequence. Then again, as I mentioned, the cover probably offers some structuring for it. Now let's see if it behaves the same after I do the drop test. That didn't seem to help it. But probably not the best demonstration, but at the same time, when these drives had their covers attached, when the heads are parked off the disc, it drops and stuff like that will typically save the drive. So I always prefer, my personal opinion, I kind of like when the heads are parked off the disc, like let's say on this Hitachi, the Western Digital, or this Western Digital, or besides the Seagate and this Western Digital. Let's see what happens when we etch the disk. By the way, guys, the reason why I'm doing this is a way of securely deleting, saving these drives from being accessed anymore. It may restart on its own. Okay. That Hitachi, I'll have to figure out some other means of destroying it. Okay, guys, here's a look at the Seagate 500 gig. Let's go and power it up. As I mentioned, all these drives are out of warranty. When you see the head going all over the place like that, it pretty much means the drive has failed. Just another reminder of why you don't take the another reminder of why you don't actually take the covers off of your disk, because that will in fact harm them. I mean, it may be okay if you put the cover back on afterwards and don't start the disk without the cover installed, but it's a big risk. Which is why if you want to have a look inside of a hard disk to do it to an older one, because obviously it will damage it. You can actually feel the air coming off of this thing. So, let's do the honors here. Restart it, I'm not done yet. Oh, there it goes. That disc is done. But let's do it a little more. Yep. Good enough. Now let's look at the Western Digital 1 terabyte. Now, as I mentioned, again, all of these have bad sectors or smart errors. They're not trust me, I'm not destroying perfectly working drives. Okay, here's the Western Digital 1 terabyte green power drive. This is only a 5400 RPM drive, so it's going to sound different than the other four. This is a 2-platter drive. An earlier 1 terabyte drive. There's actually quite a few 1 terabyte drives on the market nowadays that are single platter. For example, in the mid-tower Lux, it has two Seagate ST1000D M003 drives. These drives are still pretty common on the market. They're single platter drives. And they're 1 terabyte. Remember back when the Seagate 500 gig drive was, this particular one here, the 7200.12 to the left, was a big thing because it's a single platter. But as you can see, over a course of little no time, technology advanced even further. Anyways, here's an older 1 terabyte drive, super heavy. Two pretty good sized platters on it. Let's go ahead and start it. Not happy. As you can hear, it cuts the motor off and starts back. Not happy. Let's go and help it. Or hurt it more. See if it'll restart. Okay, let's go ahead and restart the 1 terabyte drive. Very unhappy now. Okay, done deal. Anyways, guys, here's this video. Look inside the hard disk. Well, 5 of them actually. Hope you enjoyed this video of education and destruction. Any questions or comments? Feel free to ask them. Thanks for watching.